Hey yo, what's up? So, two questions for you. Feeling stuck animating in Toon Boom because rigs feels overwhelming and slow? Frustrated with your poses because you don't feel confident in your drawing skills? So that happens at the beginning because we rely on the rigs without understanding timing, which makes animation feel stiff and slow. No clear structure to combine drawing and rigs, causing messy workflows and weak poses. So in this video, by animating this crazy animation over here, I'm going to show you how to use timing for snappy cartoon animations like a pro, how to set timing in Toon Boom Harmony with a clean and organized workflow, how I animate on top of rigs using the animation principles, how I apply character design rules like CSI to design strong and dynamic poses, and finally, how to animate faster without sacrificing quality. There's a lot in this video. I hope you enjoy it. Hello, time to animate like crazy. So, let's start. Bam, we have this first pose. We have to now design this other pose where the dog is biting the other arm. Boom, boom, boom. But look at the pneumatic, the robot is going to turn, and what I'm going to do is the same thing that I explained in the previous video, the process. Which is the process? Do I have it here? Okay, I totally get rid of those notes. First, blocking. After the blocking, we do the tie down. I design the poses, and after designing the poses, I polish the rig on top of those drawovers. Cool. So look at that. I'm flipping this dude super roughly just to keep things moving. Same thing as the blank page thing that people talk about of not having feeling insecure of starting a drawing. Same thing with animation, and the only way to get rid of that thing is by starting to move stuff. And the thought process, all the thought process, guess where it is? It's in the animatic. So I don't have to kill myself thinking too much about many stuff right now. I might want to move this a little bit down. Nah, it's a bit flat, but I can do some stuff like this. Yeah, that's better. So let's look at this. Boom, 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 boom. Now I want the same here. That's why I don't get stuck into having the perfect pose at the beginning, because I know that I'm going to move this thing around. So what I want to do is start moving things around. Don't get stuck in dumb shit. Cool. Bam. Look at that. And even I can move this arm a little bit towards the front. And as a consequence, that will move this head also. Bam, 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 something like that. Cool. And I'm thinking about not having here tangents with the leg here, so I am moving and stuff. What else do I need? I need to move this dude. Now let's see if in this thing I have a pose here, this head. I like this head, so I'm going to grab that head with the neck. Why not? Bam. And I'm going to grab this and paste it here. Bam. And that is going to be a help for me to have something to put there with this character. Bam. See, and then I'm using this as a base to design how the final frame will look like in here. Cool. Bam, 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 bam. Where's the neck? The neck is around there, so I'm grabbing the neck here and moving this, something like that. Boom. And then I'm grabbing all of this. Rah, 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 rah. And of course, this other part of the neck will be influenced. So, and look at how I'm not even looking at my keyboard at all. And that's why I'm having shortcuts only on the left part of the keyboard, so I can work really fast and focus on the animation and know where my fingers are going. And this is something I did because one day my brother told me like, "Hey, dude, you should be faster at this. You should be super fast." And he was like, Call of Duty. When you play Call of Duty, you just have to look at the screen. You don't have to look at the controller. And that is just super true. And look at that. Boom, boom, boom. Moving stuff. Ba, 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 ba. I can even move this forward. Bam, 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 bam. Cool. There you go. And then I can polish this shape a little bit more so it looks like a straight line here. Bam. Look at that. Awesome. Now I'm going to turn off the air fryer for a little bit just to fix some stuff here. We are not seeing this, to be honest, because we are having the robot rig here, but either ways, I'm going to do a super quick clean because I want to have everything making sense here. Boom. Something like that. Let's turn on this, do it again. There you go. What the heck? Ah, it's the hair. Boom. Look at that, flipping, flipping, flipping. And something that I like to do on my cutout animations, because in traditional animation, the amazing thing about traditional animation is that the line is alive. Every time that we draw lines on top of the character. Like when we're drawing the character, we draw the character in every frame, so the character feels alive. The line feels alive. And something that I like to do in my rig animations to make the character feel alive or the line feel alive is that in every frame, I try to move the rig a little bit. See how I moved a little bit and now it feels like it's moving? So boom, there you go. Now, something that I need to do here is open the mouth. I'll open the mouth, I'll move this behind, awesome. And then I can create a new drawing here. Well, or I can use this. Well, I will rather create a new drawing here. So I'm going to duplicate. So I'm not showing here my timeline view. Now I have my timeline view. I'm going to duplicate the teeth here, and I'm going to design a specific design for the teeth there, so it looks 3D. It looks like actually it's biting this dude. And now the arm of this robot is going to be straight that way. Like that. No, but I'd rather move it straight. Now, something that will help a lot, also moving these things towards the side, the direction of the arm, looking that way. So let me see if I can change this hand, then flip this. Awesome, there you go, easy peasy. Now let's make this arm a little bit more straight. Boom, something like that. And then I'm going to push these curves a little bit more and just a little bit cleaning this stuff. Awesome. And you see, the hard task of this scene was actually posing, because then I'm playing around with the rig. So poop, I'm going to key on this and also move this ghost pivot point a little bit. Oopsie. And then I'm going to move this a little bit, maybe this way, so the line feels alive. Everything feels like it's moving. Cool. Now here I need a better silhouette for the hair, so I'm going to grab this part of the hair, oopsie, and do something like this. Bam! There you go, in order to create a very appealing silhouette. It's like a painting. I'm trying that every frame looks like a painting with a very appealing negative space here. So boom. Awesome. Now here we have a layering issue by having this hair on top of the character, but I think I can do some draw overs to fix that stuff. Let's see. Let's look at the render view. Cool. Now time to draw overs. So that's the blocking. I'm going to enable this design layer, turn on, and time to start drawing. So I'm going to grab here the color blue, the brush marker number 2. I love the brush. And then I am thinking about how this head is going to be biting this arm. And I want this to be something like this. So the head of this character will be something like this and something like this. Boom. So the eye will be around here. So we're feeling it's biting there. And then the nose, we can foreshorten. Yeah, let's take the nose to create a silhouette here. Or having something like this. And then in the mouth, I'm thinking about something like this. Bam. Look at that. So I'm moving the eye a little bit higher. And then we're having the hair here. Boom, that's the perfect silhouette that I want. And then on top of this, I'm going to design a new drawing that is going to look into something like this. It's going to look into, if this is the volume of the arm, I want this to feel like it's biting here. Rawr. Rawr. and the hair is looking really good here. I might move this a little bit towards the inside and make the hair a little bit smaller. So we're having something like this. Cool. Look at that. And then if I want to clean up this a little bit, I can grab here another color, maybe something like this, and then I click here in the blue color and start cleaning this stuff around. You see, this is a simple lines. This is an S. See, here from here to here, this is an S. Look at that. Here, this is a C, and from here to here, look at that C. Boom. Now look at the C here that we have on the hair. So I'm creating simple shapes using just simple lines. Sometimes we think, oh wow, an animation that have a lot of details, a character that have a lot of details is going to look badass. But a more complex or admirable work is the ability to simplify stuff. And that's what I'm trying to do here, simplifying this with just a few lines. There you go. Maybe something like more straight like that. Yeah, there you go. Now, here we're having the lower part of the mouth. And then here, I'm trying to do something. I wanted to create some textures on my drawing. So if this is the arm of the robot, and the teeth are biting here the arm, I might want to maybe inflate this part, even though it's like a mech, even though it's like a robot. I want to show some influence here. So maybe something like this, like it's going inside here. Bam. Cool. So, for example, here I can create a triangle, and this triangle can end here with a line here. Then we're having the teeth like that. Look at that beautiful thing there. So now I'm going to translate that into this. Cool. So just three teeth will be enough here. Teeth. Boom, just three ones there. 1, 2, 1. And I'm trying to vary. Trying to have some variety on the thickness, on the length of the teeth. Maybe on the angle too. Look at that. Awesome. And then here we're having the arm of the robot being destroyed here. And I'm not actually going to destroy the arm of the robot. I'm going to add these things to make the arm look broken on the drawing of the teeth to sell that feeling. I don't want these lines here in the inside. Oopsie. Oopsie. There you go. Something different here. Maybe more squarish and less triangular, so it looks different than the teeth. There you go, we can do something like that. So it feels like it's biting in some way. And here, this part of the hair, something like that. Here we're having something like this, boom. And an S here. There you go, and now I can get rid of this. And look at that. Roar. Cool, and all of this can be like a darker color here. There you go, something like that. Now let's go back to the rig. Well, before doing that, let me move these ears here. So these ears have this shape. I'm tracing on top of this and then moving this whatever I wanted to place. This could be something like this. Then I'm going to copy paste, move here, smaller, and create some asymmetry here. Now you know what's next. Tracing, putting the rig on top. So I'm going to block this layer and go back to the rig. Go back to the rig and move. So I'm going to do that super fast right now. No. So wait, I have to close the software for a little bit. And look at that background over there. 9 all-man drawing. Something that helped me a lot in my development as an animator is to observe, to digest this drawing through osmosis, because osmosis is a huge thing. That's something that I learned in the book from Walter Stanchfield, Drawn to Life, one of the best animation books I've ever read in my life. It's like osmosis is huge. So seeing how other people work, seeing how other people draw, that's a huge thing. I remember one of the things that helped me a lot to draw cartoony hands was actually watching one of my mentors that work on Disney, see how he draw hands, like super improvised. Like he draw hands from imagination like crazy, and I realized he have some short hands. That's the word, just make things faster, right? So he have some tricks to draw cartoony hands super fast, and he didn't even explain it. I saw it. And just by seeing him work is that I learned to draw cartoony hands super fast. So that's a huge thing. That's why I also have the background, that wallpaper of the Nine Old Men, because dude, those are the dudes that invented everything that we are seeing right now in animation. And there's a lot of lessons that we can learn from them. So I'm digesting their teachings by having their drawings on my wallpaper. So highly recommend that. Just oopsie, I move. Digest all the good art that exists out there. Look at how other people work, but most importantly, don't get stuck into just watching other people working. Neither myself. Like, this is something that I've said a lot. As soon as you can, stop watching these videos and start drawing and animating your own stuff, because that's the only thing that is going to help you improve in your craft. And of course, at the beginning, we don't know what we don't know, so it's cool. It's cool to watch other people work. It's cool to read, to digest different learning resources. But the most important thing is to start animating. To actually start animating. So don't be afraid. Don't be afraid. Don't be afraid. Boom. And maybe at the end of this video, I can share with you some useful ways of thinking that helped me a lot into getting out of this fear of just creating stuff. Boom. So I am tracing here. Bam. And this a little bit smaller. Oopsie. Bam. Look at that. And then here, this nose, move it a little, making this a little bit bigger into something like this, putting this here. There you go, something like that. Now then we're moving these parts here. Oh, look, you just have to follow here this. Bam, there you go. So this is the most monotonous part of the process, just tracing on top of the drawovers. But then when we go to animation process, everything moves faster, because I'm going to reuse all of these pieces, making this bigger. There you go. Awesome. And then this mouth, I need to move this a bit lower. And this is the neck. So there you go. Oopsie. Bam, rawr. And now time to create a new drawing here for the teeth. So I'm going to create here okay, I think I duplicated already. Yep. So here in the overlay layer, I'm going to move this here because I want to copy and paste the colors of this stuff. For example, the red, then the black color there. I use the eyedropper here. Or where's that shit? Here, and then it automatically change the color palette here towards the character that I'm using right now. I'm going to increase the smoothing right now for the line. And now time to draw. I cannot see too much, so I'm going to come here to this lighting stuff and moving some stuff around until I see my draw over. So here, let's move this to here. Something like that. Boom. So teeth here. There you go. Bam, 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 bam. Where's the other one here? And then boom, 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 boom. I hold T So I have my shortcuts. So every time that I'm going to tackle shortcuts on these videos, I'm going to refer to my shortcuts. And if you're using those, amazing, dude. This is how I apply all of this in my workflow. So I'm holding T, and when I stop holding T, I release this cutter tool. So look at that, bam, bam, bam. I'm only using those lines. I'm not going now and doing this crazy weird stuff. Nah, I'm just trying to design with the same amount, with the same lines that I'm doing. Oof, line thickness. Okay, here at the outside. Okay, the line thickness is thicker there. That's good. And then here it should be thicker too. There you go. Now we have thinner in the inside and thicker in the outside to match the line thickness there. Cool. And then that's it. That's it. Now I'm going to okay. So here I need to do a mask with this to put the fill color inside there. Let me see how is that we're seeing this. Yeah, nice. So this is a mask just to fill the color in the inside. Awesome. And here I can do something like this. I see there. I'm more straight here. Boom, boom, boom. So I'm seeing how this part of the robot is getting like that crazy. Boom, there you go. Beautiful, look at that shape. Pop, pop, pop. Beautiful, simple. Simple, 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 simple. Now, time to start coloring this stuff. So I'm going to airdrop color, pick this. Bam, bam, bam. Oopsie. Bam. And then in the feel of the mouth, I'm going to choose this color here. Awesome. And now for these parts here, I can grab the color of the arm of the robot. Now, so before doing that, I need to make a better connection between this thick line of the arm of the robot and the thick line on the outside. So let's see what we can do here. For example, this line here that is lighter, I'm going to make something like this with that line. Cool. And then here with this other line that is darker, something like this. Now let's go to the air fryer color. Air fryer colors. And then here let's look at the shadows. It took me some time. I have to close this. Boom. Highlight. I need to put it here. Bam. Awesome. And then here we're having the color of the arm, which is going to be legs, arms. And then here is the thing. I need to make this line a little bit thicker and starting from here. Boom. And then here, arm, where are you, air fryer colors? And then here, in the mid, something like this. Boom. Let's see how this looks like. Okay, now here, arm. I can maybe color this with a darker color here, so it feels like it's going behind. Color only this, dude. Ah. There you go. Just something like that. Boom. So it feels like it's destroying the arm of this dude. They're like, ah. Cool. Let's look at the render view. Awesome. No, 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 no. No, 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 no. I need to see around that arm. Oopsie, so I'm going to get rid of this. And we are going like this. And then I'm going to move this behind, arrange, send back. Awesome. Get rid of this. Here we have a tangent between these lines. So I'm going to move all of this a little bit more towards the outside. La que no quería nada. Boom. Awesome, that's better. So, takata. Arm, 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 arm. Maybe I don't need this, let's see. I don't like it. I actually like these more. So, let's try it again. Let's try it again. Although I like this way of this shape, I really like that shape. So I might just want to try and do something closer to that other one here. Let's take a look at that. Boom. Triangular shapes here. Boom, and not too thick. There you go. And then I go like this. This is like cutting hair. Bam, 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 bam. There you go. Bam, 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 bam. Awesome. Now let me move all of this behind. Select all. I have to destroy this shape. Okay, let's go back again to that. Awesome. There you go. We have there the pose. Cool. Now time to animate. Cool. So look at this. This is an intro for a snappy cartoon animation. So timeline, playback, playback. Come on, playback. Cool. So look at this. I want this to bite there. So I'm going to do this. Look at if I twin this. Ugly. So I'm going to grab here a slow out. I'm going to click here and this it sees set is for multiple parameters, and what this means is the following. Right hand ratio is telling me on the frame that you are right now, Henry, in this orange frame, do you want to slow out towards the next frame, yes or no? If my answer is yes, then I have to increase a number here, and because I want a super strong slow out, because I want this to be like so I want to put an 88, and look at this acceleration there. Boom, it's staying more time here. Look at that. Now if I put here 0, look at how this looks like. And super mechanic, super robotic. So I'm going to put an 88 there. Bam. I always put like 44, 55, 66, 77. And so I put those type of numbers in here. When it's biting, here I want this final frame. I'm going to snap towards that frame. So what I'm going to do is slow out here. I'm going to grab this frame there. And I'm going to cut here the twinning. And I am going to, I like how things are moving there. It's not breaking, the rig is not breaking. And then from here to here, I'm jumping there. And I'm jumping, and I am jumping here immediately. And the arm of this dude will move there, here. So, Maybe we can hold this for a bit longer. So I'm dragging these 2 frames because I want a gap here between these two. I'm going to move this here, and I might move this a little bit here. Bam, 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 bam. Not too much. Let's go back to the original idea. Bam. And now here, in order to avoid it, this looks super static here. Like, that's it? That's animation? No, we have a lot here to do. What the heck is this? The inner mouth. Okay. So here, I'm going to start adding a shake in the head. The moment that I add a shake there, we are not going to feel like it's just stopping, but instead by adding that shake or that overshoot there, maybe I'm going to do something like, so the arm of this robot is going to overshoot that way. It's going to overshoot this way. And the hand is also going to overshoot that way. Boom, and then it's going back. Boom. So the head of this dude, oopsie, I didn't clean this. Oh, oopsie, I didn't clean this. So I'm going to copy and paste this head that I fixed from this frame into this frame over here. Awesome. And now here I'm going to add an overshoot. And I'm going to squash this head even. Awesome. And then I'm going to move all of this towards the front. Boom, there you go. So we're having this run. Now the ears of this character will go like crazy towards the front. It's going to be like ta-ta, the ears. And then we're going back. So I'm going to twin that there. Now here, instead of going backwards, straight like backwards, like tack, I'm going to go a little bit down here on this frame over here. So I'm going to move everything, going to grab everything and move down. Oopsie. And I'm going to twin off this. Look at that, bam. Now this frame, so I did something incorrectly. I should add that here, not here. So I'm going to come and see all of this and do that again here. And grabbing the entire head also. Squashing this. And now I'm pressing E, because that's the tool that I used to twin. And we're having a more rounded movement there. Bam, bam. And then I'm going to do the same with the arm. I'm going to move the arm down. Boom. And then twin this. Boom. Boom. Then I want this comeback to have some slowing, so I'm putting the 66 there. We're having something like that. Fa. Look at that. Fa. And then I'm going to break this. So that's why I divide the process in the following way. I twin. In the animation process, I divide the process in the following way. I twin, and when I'm twinning, I am adding arcs. I'm adding a squash and a stretch. And then when I'm going to a step, which is breaking all of this into twos, like on twos, then when I break everything on twos, I track the spacing and I take care of the overlapping actions so I can track every piece individually. Cool. So let me do something real fast. Change the music. Now we can continue here. So here we have something like this. Now I'm going to break the twin. I have two ways of doing that. I can select all of this and click here on these robotic eyes here and say like, hey, I want everything on twos. Come on, it's loading. I hope this program doesn't close. Come on, dude. Don't go crazy. Yeah, there you go. Create frames on twos, and I can press OK, and everything will be on twos here. Back. But I like to have more control on the things that I do, so I like to do that manually. So I'm going to select here and press T. That's my shortcut to putting everything on twos, and here also on twos. Now here the spacing of the things that I did, because I'm animating everything on twos, I have to leave one gap between my frames, so I didn't count here. So I have another gap here, frame, another gap here, frame, another gap here, frame. So this I can just drag a little bit towards the right, and then everything will be exact on twos here. Boom. And then I can cut all of this, and there you go. We have that animation. There you go. See? And now what I'm going to do is animate the ears. Because the ears, I want the ears, the animation of the ears to feel more strong. So I want to be like, ta-da! So let's look at how we can get that. Bam, bam. So when one goes up, the other one goes down like this. Bam. So this will go down like this. Something like this. Bam, bam. I need this to be dragging that way. So I need this ear to be closer to this one over here. So I'm going to tween and grab this one and move it here. This ear here is going to drag that way. And on the next frame, is going to start going down, but I'm trying to have a good silhouette between both ears. And then here is going to go down. And it's going to swipe, boom, down like this. So boom, boom, boom. And then instead of going up like crazy there, I'm going to slow in towards that pose. Cool. So let's see how this looks like. Too strong. Let me go again. So this ear here, this pose should be sooner. Boom. And here, instead of going slow, there you go. So I didn't get what I wanted to get moving these pieces, so rough animation. Boom. And here in this rough animation, I'm going to start drawing this and animate it by hand, so I don't move all these pieces of the rigs until I get something that I like, but instead I plan all of this, so I didn't trace with the rig. Cool. So H to create a new drawing, and then here we're going like this. So this will be something like this. Boom. Boom, boom. Something like this. Bam, 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 bam. And then it's slow in going up. And then this is the final pose. And this, before the final pose, so the timing of the ears will finish after the head, so we're having something like this. And maybe I can overshoot here. And then we're going towards that pose over there. And I will settle to this normal pose of the ears there. Onion skin. So let's look at how this ear looks in the rough animation. Beautiful. And now here we're going down, and here we have to slow in into this back position, so I need another frame here. Cool. So here just one, so we are slowing in towards that pose there, so we can even drag this top part, and then we're having something like this. Boom, boom, boom. This is super fast, and I need everything on twos, so this will look something like this. Twos. There you go. Bam, bam, bam. And here I can of course slow it towards this pose. This is something that I can do with the rig, but just for the sake of the rough animation, I will add that settle there to see how this will look like. There you go. Fam. Cool. Now time to animate the other ear. So here, this ear will be something like this, some asymmetry. Then boom. Here, this ear will be something like this. So it's like, bam, 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 bam. And then where's the final pose? It's around here. And same thing, I will add an overshoot there. So we're going bam, bam. Here I can even drag this upper part a little bit towards the place it's coming from, make this bigger. So it feels like it's bam, 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 bam. Then I'm going to move the exposure of this one a little bit towards the right and start gradually moving towards that pose. The spacing, this is something that I learned from an animator that worked on Iron Giant, is that spacing is moving drawings gradually from one point to the other, but gradually. So something like that. Boom, boom. And then here, we can overshoot. Let me put this here. And we are going to overshoot this a little bit towards the back. So this ear, if this ear is going up right now, I want this ear here to, first of all, the down position, this is the lowest position of this ear. So the other one is going to get there. And my lower position of this ear will be a frame after the other ear. So it's going down here. And then we can grab this, copy, paste it here, and here in the middle, we can in between towards that one. I can even drag the upper top part, this one, to be like boom, boom, but too much. There you go. Let's look at the rough pass. Beautiful. Papa. Pam, pam. Pam, pam. And I want this ear to end later, to end after this other one. So the settle of this ear will take one frame longer than the other one. So I create that asymmetry. Cool. That's the difference between just moving the rig and also adding some rough animations that I have the freedom to do whatever they want in a faster, super fast compared to what I'm able to do by just moving the rig and just being limited by what the rig is giving me. Look at that. Bam. Here. And maybe I can settle to this pose here. So it's very close to this one. So the frames feel alive. Something like that. Boom, 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 boom. Cool. Look at that, it feels alive. And then I can settle towards this. So I can settle here. One frame. Here. Boom. Cool. There you go. So guess what is coming next? Just tracing with the rig on top of this, and that's it. Boom. Now let's go back to the rig. Beautiful, dude. This is going to look beautiful. Oopsie. Boom. So I grab this ear, flip it, move it like that, make it smaller, move it this way, move it. And I don't even have to trace on exactly like in the rough pass. I just have to trace the essence of the movement. Not necessarily to trace on top of this, because I know that my character rig have different proportions compared to the rough pass that I did. But just by tracing the essence of the motion and the timing will be enough for me to replicate what I did here. I'm trying to track here only the base of the ears. So boom. And this one will still drag from the frame before, so I'm going to copy and paste this one here. Maybe move this a little bit that way. Boom. Now I'm going to copy and paste this frame from here to here, so it's dragging. And what I can do is move the deformers to push that drag motion. Something like that. Boom, 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 boom. Then this is still going lower. So in order to keep consistency in the shapes, I'm going to copy and paste from the frames before. And moving this like this. And dragging the point even more, so I'm even pushing what I have on my rough pass there. Now here, in order to exactly the same thing as I mentioned, to preserve the shapes and volumes, I'm going to use the same, but maybe I'm going to use this one over here that I didn't push the corner of the ear. I have to make this a little bit straight. There you go. Bam, bam, bam. And this one will go that way. And this one will go that way. Boom, 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 boom. Now I am missing some frames here, so here I need to add more frames, and the only thing that I'm going to move there is the, well, I can also add more animation on the head. So it's going to be like, so let's do that. So we're going that way, and then here around 1, 2, here we can go a little bit up again. So I'm going to grab the head and the neck of this character, and I'm going to move all of this up, right, keyframe this, and then I'm copying the original frame and paste it around here. So we're going up and down, up, so down, up, no, down, up. So here, instead of going up, we should go down. There you go. So down, up, and then here, instead of going just straight down, we're moving this a little bit towards the front to create an arc. This is super fast, so I'm going to extend the timing of this a little bit over here. I'm going to add 22, because every change of direction we need a slow in and slow out. So here, because we're changing direction, 22, and then we are settling here into a, let me extend this all the way through here, and then I'm going to put a slow in around 55. So we're having something like this. So boom. And then here we can move this a little bit towards the front. Twin. Now it's too strong, so I'm going to reduce here the amount. Now so what I did here is like, okay, the overall positions that I moved the character was too strong, so I grabbed something less and I moved it here. And because I did that, the properties that I have here in these things changes or increases in that time. That's why it looks super snappy. So then I have to go back again to this thing here and change the numbers. And maybe here now I'm going to get rid of this one and add the arc to make it more subtle. So I'm going to select everything again, a bit towards the right, and then we're having something more soft. Too much, so I'm going to reduce how much I move this. It's just about little centimeters. It's too much still, so I'm going to grab something around here and put it there. And now I have to clean again this stuff. Look at all of this. So I can put a cartoon 2 and 11, 33, 55, good. Here is still going like through, and then boom. Let me get rid of this again. I'm going to do it on the, so I'm going to break all of these on 2s. Let me reduce this. There you go. Better, that's softer. Boom, 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 beautiful. So again, let me clean off this. 22, 11. Beautiful, yeah, that's the amount that I want. Now I'm going to cut all of these on 2s. Choose. Oopsie, choose. Now here, instead of going back and forward, I can move this head a little bit towards the right here. Boom, a little circular shape there, and that's it. Beautiful. That's it. That's it. Pam, pam, pam. Now let's animate the arm here. So the center of the movement was around here, if I'm correct. And then here, normal pose, and just grabbing the arm and move it around. Less movement around there. Better. And now I'm going to add the same slow in and slow out amount that I added on the frame before. There you go. Awesome. I think we also had a slow out here, so I'm going to make a softer, super soft slow out there, and we have a strong slow in here, so I'm going to put a 55. I think I put a 66 on the previous one, but something like that will work. And then I'm putting all of this on 2s. Boom, 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 boom. There you go. And now, if I continue animating, if I continue with the animation of the ears will move, but also the head will be also in movement, making everything look really, everything will feel alive. I remember I had a scene in Dogshot, the short film that I worked last year, and is that there was one scene where the dog was running to attack John, the other dude that was fighting. In that scene, because I had a trouble just moving the rigs around, like just moving the pieces around in order to get a good walk cycle or run cycle for that dude, it was a pain in the ass. So I did an entire almost tie down animation for that character. And then I place that rig on top. So here, the final frame, we'll use this shape that I have here, and we'll end around here. There you go. And now, instead of doing that manually, I'm going to get rid of these frames in the middle between this extreme and this other pose, and let Toon Boom give me the settle time in here. I'm going to get rid of these frames because this is going to be my new final frame. And then I'm going to add here like a 44, 22. Boom, and then I'm cutting all of these on 2s. And let's go to the other ear. Let's go to the other ear. Bam, bam. Time. 1 hour. 1 hour already. Trying to track the base of this thing here. And then we're going backwards here. So I'm going to copy and paste this here. Awesome. And then where's the final frame is around here. So I'm going to grab this shape and move it around like that to match that. There you go. And now I'm going to grab all of this. Boom, 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 and let Toon Boom give me that settle motion at the end. Get rid of this one over here. And then I'm going to add here a slow out. Boom, 55. Boom, boom, beautiful. I can even move this a bit more so it ends after the other ear. Boop, 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 boop. There you go, bam! Look at that. Now I'll get rid of this rough pass to look at how the animation looks like. Beautiful. Roar, roar. And see that rounded movement? Let me get rid of this design layer. Where are you? There you go. Roar. Look at that. Roar. 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 And then here on the movement of this robot, I can twin here. I can twin here. I can add here a slow out, a strong slow out, 66. So it's looking here where the other dude is coming. I'm moving that frame there. And then I'm copying and pasting the same arm from here to here because I don't want that to move. I can maybe move this a little bit higher, like a little bit. Boom, 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 boom. Look, and because you saw at the beginning of the animation did it here, back. That's the only animation that we had. But adding that overshoot and that settle at the end, that rounded movement makes everything feel alive. Bam. Here the booty, I want to move the booty a bit towards the inside. Now it feels like it's rotating there. Bam. Bam. And you know how to make all of this feel more stronger? Camera, add camera peg, and then here when the dude bites the arm, boom, camera shakes like crazy. And then we go to this final. Bam. 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 Bam, 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 cool. And then on this dude, we're going to add some subtle animation like this dude is biting the arm. So we're going to do like kind of an asymmetrical loop. Selecting all of this. Selecting all of this. And then moving all of this. Squashing. And then moving this mouth up and down or a little bit towards the sides. Moving this over here. Now this other frame will be the same, or I can grab the entire head and stretch it up. Moving this up a little bit. And then we're going back to the first frame. So I'm working here on the head of the suit. So normal head, biting, closed, up with a stretch, and then we're going to a normal one. And then I can copy and paste all of this, and we're having a loop. Cool. So this will look something like this. The dude is going to be biting that thing like crazy. Oops, that's this part of the cheek is moving with that. So I have to disconnect this from that part of the rig. So let's disconnect these cheeks from there. And this is going to be an independent part. There's going to be a render. Now it's not going to move. Oops, let me get rid of all of these frames so that part stays there. Bam, look at that. Bam. Awesome. So now another thing that I want to do is to polish this neck here, because I remember it doesn't look that well here. You look at that. So I need to polish some stuff here. Cool. Now the upper part here, open this a little bit. Beautiful. Now it looks clean. And what I'm going to do is the same thing. A simple loop animation here. So this one here, I want to stretch this here. Then here we're going normal, but a little bit of squashy here. Then here we're stretching this even more. And then we're going to the first original position here. So we're having that movement. So the neck is going to come like crazy. Now this I don't want to inflate here. Boom, 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 boom. Oh, no, wait. So, no, yeah. Let me see how this looks in the render view. Yeah, I need to copy and paste. I think I didn't do that right. Okay, now I can move this. Down, back, normal position. And then I can just copy and paste this loop. Boom. So we're having something like that. That dude is going to come like crazy. Come. And then here we're having this part that I can totally also animate. Here, for example, here we have this frame and here we have this other frame. So there you go, that's it. And then copy and paste all of this. Copy and paste all of this like this. Cool. So we're having that. Here is moving too much, I don't know why. Awesome, better. Now I need to engage the body a bit more with the movement of the neck. So I might grab the body, the layer of the body, and maybe do something like this. There you go, yep. And then I can also copy and paste that loop. Bam. Sorry, let me close that, and then I can copy and paste this loop. Look at that. Better, everything feels more engaged. Cool, that's it. That's animation of this scene. Badass, isn't it? Super, super nice. Boom. Let me loop this for you. This is the end of the video. Hope you like it. This is animation process. As you can see, I took most of the time on the previous video to work on the posing, to work on designing the pose so it looks badass, looks solid, looks in 3D, not necessarily like a 3D. That horn is bothering me, but I'll fix that later. Let's fix it right now, otherwise I will never do it. See, for example, I already have an animation here, and I want to fix that horn because it feels like it's having a tangent here with this part, with this upper part. So instead of going frame by frame, I disable animation mode, and I put this red thing on that yellow thing here into red, animate off, and then when I move one piece, that piece will move throughout the animation. See? So I don't have to go inside of the timeline to fix that. And that kind of stuff, sometimes when before doing compositing, I go back to the scene and I do some little tweaks when I'm rendering this stuff to see if like little tangents that bothers me. For example, this thing here, come on. But again, I try to just finish the scenes and not get too caught up into these type of things. There you go. Now I'm seeing a better silhouette here between these two. Cool. So there you go, this is the process. Previous video we design the pose, we pose everything, and then on this one I animate. And because I am using a very snappy cartoon animation style, I just jump from one pose to the other one. That's why I have to focus on building, on designing those poses in a very strong way. So when I jump from pose to pose, everything will look super badass. Cool, hope you like this video, and I see that I will add some animation on the neck of this dude here of Colin, but I will add it later. So see you on the next one, next scene, next video. Don't forget to like and subscribe. I really appreciate your support, guys, and if you have any comments, any questions, feel free to leave it in the comments, and I'll be happy to even create a video for you if you need some help. So I'll see you next time. Bye.